Hi, it's time for Mystery Secret Searchers, episode 19, Spanish John. That's what's written in John MacLeod's journal. Spanish John, showing the pistol. Raven's Rock, pistol shot. Protect thee well, curses tell. Spanish John gives a gift. Now our fortunes do they lift. Who is Spanish John? Well, we were not sure. We now know a little bit about the curse of the sword MacLeod. Raven's Rock, that refers to the MacDonald or MacDonald clan. We've seen that at St. Raphael's Church. And the pistol somehow related to Spanish John. Well, you might remember Simon Fraser. He was the Western explorer of the Fraser River and Hell's Gate, as seen in this video. He explored in Western Canada, part of the Northwest Fur Trading Company, explorer extraordinaire. And when we looked at his plaque, we found that he actually lived in Glengarry. He was actually buried, he died in Glengarry, and he was buried at St. Andrew's Church. We took a quick trip over to St. Andrew's Church, and we saw the plaque, we saw the church. It was very interesting, but we didn't really make any further connection from it. But now we look back on it, and if you read right in the middle, it says that the St. Andrew's Church was settled or built by the settler Spanish John MacDonald. Here's Spanish John. We found him, part of the Northwest Company and other fur traders. He was a militiaman involved in many, many wars. In fact, he fought in Spain, hence his nickname, Spanish John. That really made us think that we found another clue, and the pistol must belong to Spanish John, according to the journal. This made us want to find out more information about Spanish John. Well, he's known as Spanish John because of his service in the Spanish Army, but he was a man of the 18th century world: Scotland, Rome, France, Spain, England, New York in the United States, and finally Canada. He was born in Scotland in 1728. And he was part of the enormous and still powerful MacDonald or MacDonald clan, which exists even to this day. His son, John MacDonald, Lieutenant Colonel John MacDonald, which we found the monument for in Glengarry, was also famous. He was famous for helping fight off the Americans in the War of 1812, and we think he probably was a friend of our John MacLeod. If you go back and remember St. Raphael's Church, at St. Raphael's Church, we saw the plaque to the MacDonald clan of Glengarry. And this included the MacDonalds and the MacDonalds. And here is the sign with their crest, which has the symbol on it, Raven's Rock. That's what John MacLeod's journal says, Raven's Rock. The Secret Searchers have arrived in Austin, Texas. Hey, Mystery Secret Searchers! So the Mystery Secret Searchers, we head out to Austin, Texas, USA. We learn that there is a 85-year-old man at one of the local gun shops who happens to be an expert in old firearms, especially the type that we found. We want to take our pistol to him and have him examine it and see what he can tell us about this Spanish pistol that we found in the St. Lawrence River. So we're down in Austin, Texas. It's fantastic down here. The food is great. The beef ribs, the brisket, it's fantastic. We also took in a Formula One race while we're down here and checked out the music scene. It was a great trip. I'll just give you a little bit more information about Spanish John MacDonald. Of course, in 1774, he and his family as a part of over 600 Scottish Highlanders, mostly from the Macdonald clan, they came to the American colonies. They sailed on the ship called the Pearl. They settled in America, in New York State, because most of the land in Glengarry was being sold off at very high prices. In 1775, though, unfortunately for the Macdonalds, the American Revolution began. Spanish John fought for the British, and of course we know the British did not win. The Americans won. Spanish John and his wife and his children were harassed by the Americans and finally driven from their home, but they managed to make their way to Canada in Glengarry with thousands of other loyalist refugees, and that's where they settled. Spanish John's son was someone we know too, John Macdonald, Lieutenant Colonel John Macdonald. We believe he was a friend of our John McLeod, the journal writer. And they were both in the militia together. And we believe they were both involved in the hiding of that cursed sword of McLeod, which they enlisted the help of Caribou Cameron. He was able to take the sword out west of British Columbia, where it stayed for a time, eventually making its way back to Glengarry, of course. In Glengarry, thanks to the British government and the strong efforts of someone named Sir John Johnson, who also lost his property in the States, the Scots Macdonalds were granted land in Ontario, in Glengarry. They both prospered here. Spanish John went on to become the Western Governor of the Western Province of Manitoba and was elected to Parliament. He died in 1810. In his 82nd year, he's buried in the Pioneer Graveyard in St. Andrews West. And St. Andrews Church is the church where he's died. So it was all through in the militia. So here we are at the Texas Gun Shop in Austin, Texas, thoroughly enjoying our trip to Austin. The gun shop is a pretty incredible place. Lots of pistols, rifles, antiques, vintage items, and lots of things that show off the old muskets and pistols of the 1800s. And we were going to talk to our pistol store owner. We have this pistol here. We wanted you to take a look at it. We're just wondering if there's anything about it you can tell us about its Spanish origins.
This pistol is not for Spanish origin. This pistol is German origin. This was made in Germany. This was made in the late 1700s, maybe early 1800s. And this is the most interesting factor. It has a Trinity knot symbol on it, which is a sign of, well, lots of people have different meanings for it, but it could be the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, or other meanings. But very popular on European weapons and like firearms and pistols. This is a flintlock. It's got nice pewter pieces and some gold inlay on it. It's very nice. You say you found it? You found it? Where did you find it?
Well, we found it up in Canada in the St. Lawrence River. A lot of militia there from the 1800s.
Oh, yes, that explains things.
Wait a second. What does he mean? He says, well, that explains things. What does it explain? Well, let's put some of the pieces together here. What does he mean? Okay, the gun is not Spanish, but it belonged to Spanish John. The gun was German origin. It had the Trinity knot with the triquetra symbol on it. Now that's really interesting because that's what the shield has on it. That was a common European or Gaelic symbol put on a lot of weaponry. Raven's Rock, that's the symbol of the Clan MacDonald. Pistol shot, pistol. Protect thee well. Protect us from what? The curse of the Clan MacLeod sword. Spanish John gives us a gift. He gives us his pistol that he used in the militia. Well, we hope you're enjoying Mystery Secret Searchers. Please like, share, and subscribe.